And we are live on Facebook and YouTube, laughing at inside jokes prior to going live. Hello and welcome, Andy and Jared, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. We're going to have a new sponsor coming up pretty soon. We're going to be flying underneath a different banner pretty soon. We'll keep that a secret at the moment, but just so you know, announcements are coming soon. There's a dude outside cutting the grass. I have no idea why. It's 8:40 at night, and there's someone cutting the grass right now. That's what's going on. So if you can hear that in the background during the beginning of this podcast, that's what that is. It is not a plane hovering over my house or a drone. It's somebody cutting their lawn, strangely enough. Hey, well, you know what, Andy? Taking a look at how things have been going with sports in the sports world, Myles Garrett seems to be the story at the moment. He signs a record deal, $100 million deal with the Browns.
Yeah, $100 million guaranteed.
Guaranteed. 125 total, I believe. Correct?
Yes.
Signs with the Browns long-term, 5 years. Also, the Browns are going to keep the train rolling with signings of Wills and Delpit and completing the rookie class contracts there for the team. Plus, what do NFL agents think of Andrew Berry? An article in The Atlantic discusses what they are hearing from agents.
Or the Athletic.
Did I say? What did I say?
Atlantic.
I'm in a different world right now. It's been a long day. We've already discussed it. It's easy to blame. It's easy to blame a glass of Crown.
Oh, of course, this is good. I'm frozen. Are you frozen? Jared, are you frozen, buddy? Because I'm still here. We will be right back. Jared Watson going under with the internet. Stay tuned.
And I think people can probably hear me. Robin says, "Just Jared, Andy's going to call back now." Yeah, I'm gonna bring you in here, and I'm going to talk to the folks as we do it. We'll go from there. All right, bye. Technical difficulties. Andy's going to be right back. Let's go ahead and invite him. My internet has been dropping for some reason. Andy, welcome back. That's one way to start a show.
Great show.
And you're muted. No, maybe you're not muted. You were just delayed. Yeah, great show. Great day. Way to cap off the day. So for anyone out there in social media world, we're going to start this like it's a brand new show. Got to do it. Got to do it that way. Let me double check this. Cool. Round 2. That was you. Okay. Awesome. Everything else working. What's funny is it didn't do this throughout my entire class, and then it did it.
Of course.
No. So internet's been going out repeatedly lately. All right. Where are we here? Starting over. And I am recording. Are you recording?
We are good.
Cool.
It's gonna be a great show.
Then let's start it over. And we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Hello and welcome, Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. This podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Hey, pop the champagne. Myles Garrett signs a record $100 million guaranteed money deal with the Browns, 125 over 5 years, if you want to break it down. Also, the Browns train keeps going there with the signings of Wills and Delpit. That completes their rookie class contracts for the team. Plus, what do agents think of Andrew Berry? Well, an article in The Athletic discusses what they're hearing from agents. And finally, and I mean finally here, we're almost to opening day with the Indians. Now, what are they going to do? Well, I don't know. We'll go into a deep dive with the tribe and figure some things out. And what to make of college football in 2020? I'm not holding my breath. Nope. But first, your contract signing. Cleveland Browns.
Hi, everybody. I think this open to the show is really how this day has gone for poor Jarid Watson and myself. It's been a steamroll of a day. I am just shot, and I know Jarid is too. It's been a long, long day. I think this quote says it all from Myles Garrett. Cleveland, keep betting on me. World, keep betting against us, end quote. This is a big day for the Browns. We have been through these draft picks that have come through the door. Insert Justin Gilbert. Insert Johnny Manziel, obviously. Insert David Njoku, who's about ready to leave town. We've had so many first-round draft picks come through the door. Even Joe Hayden stayed a little bit. He's not here anymore. For the Browns, probably the first one since Hayden, to really have a guy that's worked out play this level. This is a big deal. The contract itself we'll get to. For us as Browns fans, this is a big deal. We don't talk about it enough, and I'm going to talk about it here to lead off. He is the best player on his team athletically. He is the guy on this team that's been the most consistent. I've been hard on him at times. I know you've been hard on him at times a little bit. But to be fair, this contract made a lot of sense. We've been talking about and harping on it since April. I'm glad they did this. And by the way, for people who were saying, why would Myles Garrett do this? In a COVID-19 world, take the money.
Yeah, take the sure thing.
Yes. I just think it made so much sense. And I can't get over this. This is a big day for the Browns. To draft someone, see him develop, and Jared him coming back for 5 more years, great day. It's a great day.
Well, here's the deal, Andy. There's some folks out there who still think that this might not necessarily be the best move for the Browns, and their arguments are that Myles Garrett hasn't performed to the best of his ability in their minds, right? He's shown up, but he hasn't taken over a game. And I know you've had those feelings in the past as well.
There's been some
moments. we can give excuses here that to me are at least legitimate. Coaching. Right? Coaching to me is at the core of all of these issues with all of these young players who have not produced in the maximum way that they should be producing. And that includes even Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb had a hell of a season, but could we have gotten more out of him? Absolutely. Exactly. Look at how much bitching we do about the fact that he wasn't on the field in times where he should have been, in third downs, other people getting carries, passes behind the line of scrimmage that we wondered, why the hell is that going on? Why are we not handing the ball to Nick Chubb? So when you look at a Myles Garrett and over the time that he has been with the Browns and how he has produced 10 sacks in 10 games last season, and maybe might have hit some dude in the head with a helmet, but besides all of that, to me, this is a no-brainer. Signing somebody who wants to be here, who does more than just play on the field, who also cares about the community. And again, in a time where there's so much uncertainty, then you make things happen when you can. And that's what the Browns did.
Good person, well thought out, well spoken. I listened today to his Zoom conference with the press. He's very well thought out. There's no question, and I'm one of them. He did not play to his highest ability at times on the field. Absolutely. What he did, we talked about this in the show, so we'll belabor it again. What he did in the Steeler game was deservedly so, getting kicked out for the rest of the year. He's now paid his penance, and he's now back. This is all about upside. At the same time, all that said, if you're going to be a winning organization to do big things, you need to keep Myles Garrett around. He is a leader. He is a good person. You need these people, the Frankie Lindors, the Kevin Loves. Myles Garrett, you need guys like this in the city. You need these guys on your team. Yep. He is too talented of a player. Is there a chance for this to blow up in the Browns' face? Sure, but that could be anything like this. If you watch Myles Garrett and you watch his disruption on the field, look, all that to be said, if you go, what's one game? Watch the Jets game on Monday night. He dominated, and he still could have played better. To me, it just tells me, Jared, you're going to say to a guy, I think his still hasn't reached his ceiling.
Yeah.
Why would you not sign a guy to a long-term deal who's physically gifted, who I must admit, the one thing I will say about Garrett, every year he's improved. Even with what happened in the Steeler game on the field, every year he's improving. Why would you not? And if we're all being fair and honest, Garrett is a guy that can win you a game, and he can take over a game if he plays up to his highest ability. You got to sign him. It makes way too much sense.
He can do it, and with the potential of the other side of the field there on that defensive line, if we see an improvement on the other side, that will help him as well. Let me ask you this, Andy, and this is something I've been thinking about. We talk about long-term contracts. We talk about the risk there. This is a 5-year. I like the 5-year. I don't like going any longer than a 5-year. And that includes in baseball, where we see the decade-long signings. Now, Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, is a way riskier deal than what we have done with Myles Garrett. No, my argument with that is you got 5 years. If there's a bust in any of that, okay, whatever. Shit happens. You got a 10-year deal with Patrick Mahomes, who has proven himself more than Myles Garrett has to this point, right? And is at this point the core of that Kansas City team. So I understand locking him down long term, but I still don't think signing players for anything beyond 5 makes any sense to me in any sport, and that includes football, and that's where I stand on that.
I agree with you about the years. Here's something else about Myles Garrett. When he was gone, that last 6 games, the Browns defense had a very hard time getting off the field.
You ain't kidding.
I mean, Dolphins game to both Bengals games to the Cardinals game, they just could not get off the field. If you're
he was the closest thing to their identity that they had.
He was. There's no question. If you are going to win big, you have to make signings like this, and you have to make signings to say, hey, we're not just going for a good signing and make press. We're going for big wins. In the NFL and in baseball and basketball, when you draft players as your number 1 overall pick, and we've seen this in Cleveland, forgetting your first round pick, he's the number 1 overall pick, and he leaves town, that would have been the biggest gut punch. We would have been pissed. We would have been pissed off and angry and all that stuff. For Myles to sign, it takes a load off. It takes a load off of mine. And again, for people out there, I think they're wrong this time. You cannot wait post-COVID for bigger contracts. Take the money. Don't fuck around. This is stuff you don't know what the world's going to be like in 2021, 2022. Hey, 2023 could have come back, sure. But are you really going to wait on that kind of dice roll? Take the money, and I'll give the Browns credit. This is what they needed to do. It showed good faith on them, and it showed good faith on Myles Garrett. And another guy deserves a big point. Andrew Berry keeps hitting things out of the park this offseason. It does not mean you're going to win big. It does not mean you're going to do things. But we're going to get to it later in the show. He is really having a great offseason. In a year ago, we were saying how much we love Dorsey, and Dorsey was doing good things. I'm not naive. It's amazing how Andrew Berry has made me not miss Dorsey. And that says a lot. I really like Dorsey. And he has done a great job so far with this team. Really,
I wonder if that comes from the point of, Andy, we like Dorsey, but he had moments that made us cringe. I haven't had a moment where Barry's made me cringe yet, right?
He has not had it. In fact, I want to jump to it. There was a wonderful article in The Athletic, and they interviewed agents, and they not just focused on Barry, they focused on all teams, all 32 agents. And they really went into what do agents think about different teams and different executives. The biggest problem the Browns have fought, which is hard for us to stomach as fans, is that guys who are not from Cleveland or not from the Browns don't want to go to Cleveland because there's this perception it's not fun to play there and you're not going to win. And I've been saying that's been the biggest uphill battle for this organization. It's not a city thing. It's a Browns thing. You go to Cleveland, you don't have fun, you're going to get your ass kicked, and you're going to be four wins or less. So why even go there? And by the way, all that's fair mathematically. It happened to on the field.
Yeah.
So for Andrew Berry, he had to battle things uphill with another upheaval. Here's what people are saying. Agents loving Berry so far. Turning the culture around the league. Quote, I think first-year general manager Andrew Berry is a great mind. On a personal level, I like him. We have great conversations. I just think the way he deals with people, he's football knowledge. Smartest guys in the game. Two of them out of 32. So all these different agents, two of them thought Berry already is one of the smartest guys in the game. Folks, they are saying very, very positive things about Andrew Berry. And this is not just other owners or their GMs. These are agents. And that is something Cleveland Browns have fought for way too long. This article is proof in the pudding. We're starting to develop Antonetti type vibes. We're starting to see the road where people might want to come to the Browns. That's good.
The Antonetti type vibes is a great way to express that, Andy. I know Browns fans are nervous and hesitant anytime they hear comments like this because they compare them to the past. I get that, but we really have to pay attention to the nuance of the situation, in my opinion, where, first of all, let's recognize nothing has happened on the field yet. Got it.
No.
Done. We're not there.
By the way,
we are not
that.
saying,
Yes.
right. We are not saying that this will translate into a 12-4 season and the Browns going to the AFC Championship game. We're not saying any of that. What we are saying is we like what we see in this moment in time in the present, and the present is what we are focused on. It's different, right? We were anticipating the future last season. We were ready to get those guys out on the field, ready to see these offensive weapons, ready to see what Freddie would do, mixing it up on the field, ready to see everything that Dorsey had put together. And we were ignoring some of the blatant things that should have kept us worrying, which, I mean, you can go all the way back to the Seth Wickersham article and talk about that.
You're right. You're right. Good point.
So we were ignoring a lot back then. Now, we're not ignoring the possibilities of the future of the Browns, but what we are saying that is currently in the present, this is the right way to go. They are on the right path, and it is being validated and verified in important mediums like The Athletic.
When you have other agents who have a GM who's only been on the job since January, saying things like, we think he is one of the smartest guys in the game. Out of a 30 to 40 agent pool that they did, all anonymous, 2 of the votes went to Berry's being this. He hasn't even done anything. They haven't even done anything on the field yet. I just think the perception in the Browns is finally changing, and you can feel it. In a COVID-19 season, going into training camp, it's great to feel good.
Yeah.
It's surprising, and I'm liking that. I'm not saying, but to what Jared alluded to, last year, oh God, we were all, read the Ringer article. We were fucking excited.
Don't read the Ringer article.
We were hard. I'll read it. It's fine.
We'll autograph it. It makes me cringe.
We'll autograph it for you later on. Like, look, my mom has it on her refrigerator. Look, I just love the fact that this is how it's gone, because if we were to roll it back after the shit show in Cincinnati, and we all knew what was coming, give this organization credit. They've dealt with changing everything again, having to go through an offseason where there is no offseason because of the pandemic, to go through all these challenges. Here the Browns are. It doesn't mean.
And the challenges have been so calmly handled. Yes. Andy, here's some challenges. Overcoming your own ego as a coach and wanting to bring in all of your me guys, all the guys that you like, and getting rid of some of the players. Olivier Vernon restructuring his deal.
Yeah, smart.
That is right. And
by the way, that's another Berry point. Great. I know where you're going on this.
We've talked about this, I think, in the past, Andy, where none of these guys are coming in acting like they know better.
That's right.
They just are doing things that are telling me, all right, this isn't normally what some of these guys do, but you can tell it's because the egos are being removed. They're being contemplative. They're being contemplative of what is already there, what they can work with, They sat down with all those players to know their personalities and whether they wanted to be around them. This is the way to go, Andy. Not destroying it because you got a new staff, not building all over again, not casting Baker aside because you think, oh, well, you know what? He's ruined because of the other coaches. No, you're working with it and recognizing all of the positives that are coming with this team and just making tweaks here and there, and fixing some of these things. And I just hope that it translates on the field whenever that fucking may be. But I hope it translates. That's all.
Subtle moves like Vernon, to your point, is echoing loud in volumes to you and me. And I think hopefully it does other Browns fans too. Because this organization, if you would have told me back in January and given just the off-the-field global news, I actually would have said, you know what, hold our ankles and just hopefully we just get to 2021 because this is going to be awful. Yeah. And here we are. We're talking very positively. They've done everything to what they can. They have controlled this as best as they can. And for the Browns, that says a lot. The Browns are on their way. And Jared makes another great point. When would you ever hear something like Olivier Vernon restructures his contract to stay with Cleveland to make sure he plays on the field? You know what would be the past? And Olivier Vernon wants to be traded. Olivier Vernon is really pissed off. Olivier Vernon's going to hold a press conference out of nowhere on his Zoom camera and talk to, or on his Instagram account, telling fans how upset he is.
Right.
You're not hearing that. That is what we've been dealing with in the past. It's very good.
And we aren't hearing it except for the one person that we are hearing it from. And we are actually sitting there going, is he fucking crazy? Is Njoku crazy?
Oh,
what does he think? He's on his rookie contract. Where does he think he's going? What does he think is going to happen? No.
Yeah.
Now, other years, I think that fans would have been bummed out in a way of, see, there you go again. Can't even keep your rookie contract kids happy. No. I don't think I feel that way at all right now with the way that the situation looks in Cleveland. It looks like he's being an idiot with this decision. Now, granted, maybe there's something that I don't know. David, I don't know. Maybe I don't understand something. But I'm telling you right now, to all of us on the outside, it looks like a piss poor decision on your part to not want to be a part of this and actually earn your way onto the field and maybe even earn yourself a contract elsewhere down the road.
He actually may have the chance, to what Jared's alluding to still play with the Browns and play well. Now, we'll have to see. And by the way, the one thing I didn't get into last show that I want to get to in Njoku, out of all the times, why now request a trade after you go through all that? You're in Zoom meetings, you're talking to the team, you haven't even stepped on the practice field.
You know why? Why?
And by the way, you even have rumors where you're throwing the ball around with Baker, and now you want to do it?
You know why?
Just silly.
Garrett, it's selfish. It's a me thing. That's what that is, Andy. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
there's nothing else.
True. It's true.
It's a me thing.
It is very, very me thing. Back to Garrett real quick before we start structuring down the rest. Garrett, Jared alluded to it too. So you got Khalil Mack. He's going to make more than him. He's going to make more than Aaron Donald. Dan Monis on Facebook, quote, let's see how Barry's draft picks turn out this year, end quote. Dan, let me just speak on something what you're saying. Again, none of this equates to wins. None of this equates to championships in 22, 23. I don't know. Look, Jedrick Wills, okay, he signed his deal. The only thing about this team that is a question mark is guys like Jedrick Wills. We haven't seen him play. I will say, out of everything this team has done, and I'm not saying it's the incorrect move. It's a risk. You have to take – if parts on your team, you have to take a risk. Yeah. I will say the Browns are going all in on Jedrick Wills. He hasn't played it down yet. He hasn't been in the camp yet, obviously. So that's putting a lot of risk on there. And Dan's right. If Jedrick Wills stinks, we're going to be sitting here complaining about it in October. And we're going to be sitting here yelping about it. Now, if Delpit stinks, we're going to be talking about that too. If
they can find ways to recover from these things on the field,
that's different.
That's a lot too, right?
Yeah, that's not different too. Now
we're going to have to, overcome adversity on the field whenever that happens.
Now, here's something else I'll say to Dan. The one thing, though, I'm starting to go away from in all sports is expecting draft picks to be great.
Nope.
I think you have to keep guys who you see you perform, and if they are still performing and you still see upside, keeping them. All sports, all three teams. And the Browns needed to keep that with Garrett. I'm tired. I am not this. I've been saying it. I'm going to start harping it. I am not tear down, rebuild. I am not Tank. I am done with that. I don't want to do that ever again. I don't want to hear about that from the Cavs next year. I don't want to fucking hear it. I want to start winning games.
No, I got to be honest. I think that it's a terrible precedent that's been set throughout all these leagues on this idea of tear down and rebuild.
It's a joke.
It really honestly is. Because think about it. You have limited quality players at the professional level in all of these sports, right?
That's right.
There's little difference in talent in a lot of these players on the field, right? It comes down to what? Coaching. It comes down to play calls. It comes down to the team, meshing as a team. There are things that matter beyond the talent of the player on the field. We have seen good coaches get amazing play out of players. So the idea that you tear down and rebuild and bring in new talent, it's the same as the old talent. It honestly is. You can't say that there is a huge discrepancy with the talent that you bring in as opposed to the talent that was there. We've seen pros. We already seen pros go to Kansas City and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't do shit with the Browns. So don't tell me there's a difference.
There's no difference. And by the way, too, I'm going to go a step further. I love playing craps. I don't want to play fucking craps on our teams, okay? I don't want to sit there and be like, hey, you know what? Hey, he hasn't rolled 7 in a while, so I'm going to bet 6. I'm going to bet 8. I love craps, by the way, can you tell? And I'm going to bet all these different things, and then he craps out. I also, for people who love these mystery draft picks, you're going to love the old game show, Let's Make a Deal, where they have a big fucking curtain, and you got in your pocket, you've won already a washer and dryer, you've won some cash, but you're going to trade it all in to see what's in curtain number 3.
And it's a goat.
And it's a fucking goat, is right.
He
used to call them zonks.
Yeah.
These days, I'm done with this. That's why Myles Garrett makes sense. Now, look, if you would have came and told me we're going to sign David Njoku to a record deal, I'm pausing. Much different conversation. This is not the same thing here. And again, for all those things, and Dan Monos is right. He's got to hit on some draft picks. We all agree there. But here's the difference. The Cavs have a lottery pick, and I hate saying it, it's all in that lottery pick. Because of how this has gone, the Cavs in that lottery pick, it's huge. In the Browns' case, if Delpit and Jedrick Wills aside, Jedrick Wills is big. But if Delpit and some of these other guys don't hit, I'm not saying I'm thrilled, but at the same time, we can take the blows as Browns. Why? Right. Because we've done other good things surrounding the talent that they will have success on the field. In past years, what were we always doing? Let's go through Dorsey's draft picks. Let's see how everybody's doing here. Let's see. This is the first year we're not
focused on the individual.
That. Yeah,
the team. Individual instead of the team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, to that too, when those guys aren't working out, it's not all Andrew Berry. No. It might be on Stefanski.
Play on the field. By the way, the Browns still, with all that said, even if they hit on everything, they still haven't had a winning record since fucking Anderson. Okay? Like, the Browns have to still make big strides on the field. So people should be remembering too, very rarely is there a first to worst, and God, would that be great, and they Browns didn't finish worst, but whatever. All that to be said, we're finally moving in a structured way. Yep. Last year was hype. Let's just call it the way it is. It was hype. This year, even if they go 7-9, which would be such a gut punch, whatever else, you kind of know that these decisions make sense. It's hard picking this apart. That's my point. Hard picking this apart. To what Jared said in the open, Garrett, 125, $25 million average, and he gets $50 million yesterday, and he's going to get $100 million guarantee. I listened to Garrett's press conference. He is very soft-spoken, but his words carry to people. He got asked the last question in his press conference, what are you going to do with the money? What did he say? I'm going to buy a car. That's good. He should treat himself. And I'm buying my parents a new house in Texas. That's it. And that's the kind of guy we need. And that guy has gone out of his way to donate money. That guy has gone out of his way to donate people who are having hard times right now in this country. Again, the Browns, Indians, and Cavs doesn't mean championships are coming, but these are good people, and it makes the teams easier to root for.
You can root for these guys. Exactly, yes. Andy. This is something that you can stand behind and be proud of. And I will tell you this, that morale matters.
Huge.
Morale fucking matters.
Huge. Huge.
I've been in situations where I've been surrounded by a lot of talented people who were in shitty moods and who weren't happy. And whatever it was that we were doing didn't turn out as well as it should have.
No.
Period.
You can have all the talent and resources in an organization or a company or whatever else. If we're all sitting there gritting our hands or getting nervous or we don't feel there's leadership, we all know it falls apart. The Browns, the one thing, I don't want to belabor this as a negative, but I'm going to belabor it one time again. Mm-hmm. The Browns have been a turnstile for more than just bad draft picks because no one wanted to come to the Browns. No one wanted to go to Berea and play for them. And it wasn't because the Browns lack money. The Browns have spent money. It's not because the Browns don't have an innovative, good place to play in Berea. No, they do. I mean, their facility's beautiful. It's beautiful. It has everything to do with the perception. And it's, hey, if it's not going to be fun and we fucking suck, why am I going? Why am I going? Myles started off, was a good kick into place. We mentioned Jedrick Wills. He signed this deal 4 years, 19.7 on Tuesday. So they're all done. Delpit also signed, $7 million, $3 million signing bonus. So everybody's now signing in Cleveland with the draft picks, which is good. And as Jared alluded to also, Vernon, who is due to make 15.25, is now going to make $11 million this year, $7 million signing bonus, which is very, very, again, that's a classy move by the Browns. They're basically saying, because you're doing this, we are going to play you straight cash to take this, which is a good, again, he's taking less money to get guaranteed money.
Yeah.
That is a good faith structure by the Browns.
Right. And it's not like if he doesn't perform, he's not going to get money.
That's right. That's
that
right.
Too. Right.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's like they came to common ground. He understood that the open market might not be working out for him, that going anywhere else might not work out for him, that this, he probably wants to be here. He wouldn't, if we went, let's just go to that. He wouldn't sign if he didn't want to be here. Period.
Vernon has no incentive to stay here unless he wants to play for the Browns. And Jared's right. And again, good on Vernon. Why not take a signing bonus to restructure your deal to get paid guaranteed, just in case no games get played? Take that cash.
Yes, and that's a very real possibility.
You don't know. Nothing. You don't know.
You ready for spring ball, brother? Could happen.
College football, we'll get to it. By the way, I'll give a little teaser. I'll give a little teaser. College football, it's going to be a miracle if they play this fall. It's going to be a miracle. I was wrong about this. It's going to be a miracle. Some of the other things that came up in the Athletic article, the two things that were a bit, nitpicky, the questionable off signings is one of the questions. The Browns came up twice in this. Austin Hooper, they thought they overpaid, which we all talked about. They overpaid to bring a guy in there. By the way, with what's going on with Njoku, that signing makes a lot of sense. That's a good risk play. And yes, we all saw this too. Case Keenum's, he's for a backup, he's making $6 million a year. Where, there's guys like Cam Newton who can't even make $2 million a year. All that to be said, you can nitpick and that kind of stuff. The Browns overpaying for Keenum and for Hooper, which they did, makes sense because they need guys like that in place in case 6 doesn't play well, which God forbid, hopefully, or he gets hurt. In the case of the Browns tight end situation, I've said it too many times, but I'll say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, the Browns tight ends last year were awful. There were guys playing on the field I used to complain and just moan about, running out for passes that you just know shouldn't be out there.
Yeah.
To get someone like Austin Hooper, yes, who may not be elite when it comes to making plays in the NFL, but he is a upper echelon tight end. Bring him in. I don't want to see these other guys run anymore. We're not there right now. We're not here to develop Harris and we're just here to start winning games. Okay.
Well, that signing on top of signing fullbacks, on top of the backfield that they already have, that just tells you that they are committed to Baker and that they are committed to this type of, hard-nosed offense that we were hoping we would have seen a little bit of last year. And you overpay a little bit for that too, because you know what? Hooper's got, how long was Hooper's deal for? 2 years?
Something like that. We'll have to look back.
Right.
But it makes sense.
They're not long-term deals and they have the money to spend. So it's not like it's tying up their money when they need to sign, when they need to sit at the table with Baker years down the road, hopefully. When they need to sit down and do some of these other deals with Nick Chubb. Yeah. Spend the money now because we know they've been sitting $50 million under the cap for a couple of years in a row. So I mean, these are all you're just leveraging in case something happens with certain situations. You're trying to max out what you can pull off offensively with some of these deals. Andy, none of this makes me go, I wonder what the fuck they're doing. None of it.
What we're alluding to is the Browns are not only building a good culture here for next year, they're trying to actually win games. That does not mean wins and losses.
They can do both.
Yeah. They can do both, and they're trying to. And by the way, again, not from Jared Watson or myself, not from Tony Rizzo or Tony Grossi or Ken Carmen. These are agents who are neutral thinking, saying, I really enjoy what Andrew Berry's doing. I think he's really smart. Anyways,
yeah.
Some of the
Homers ain't saying it, but homers are eating it up, and I'm one of them.
I'm one of them today. We need it right now. Some of the other things that was funny in the Athletic article that's non-Browns, everybody thinks the Bengals are cheap, which is great. They are cheap, by the way, and they just think Mike Brown is very strange. John Elway getting some least respected GMs with 3 votes. Don't hate him, but don't respect him was one guy's quote about John Elway.
Oh my gosh.
Now, and this is my other favorite quote about Elway. Now that Bruce Allen is out, John Elway's up as the most least respected GM in the league. So, good to see that. It made you feel good. And then
I love when they get anonymous quotes like this.
I do too. And then,
speak freely. We won't use your name.
Right. And if someone put, look, everybody, we all know Belichick's very bright and everywhere else, but as they mentioned too, the quote from one agent, the Patriot way is hard to deal with. Double crossing, end quote. One guy said you can fill in the dots. I mean, look, all that to be said, it's just good to get all the stuff. It's good to feel good. It's a great article for people who have the Athletic subscription. I wouldn't make the time to read it. OBJ did something on YouTube. He talked about how he's feeling. Let's get into some quotes from him. Quote, "This is how I feel. I'm tired of playing your game. Like me and Cam talk about that humble shit. When you're inside, like we are humble men. But they've taken that to that humbleness as a weakness. And they're shit on us. It's crazy to me because when you're up and you're talking, they hate it. And for me this year, I'm trying to kill it. Like that's it." End quote. His blonde hair is also back for people who like that kind of stuff. So his blonde hair is there. I know there's some people who like to be the trends of the league. All this to be said, it feeds into this narrative, which I think is going to play a role this year. You know, in a way, the pandemic has actually, I think, helped Mr. Beckham because he's recovering. He's been doing his own thing, which we all know he prefers to do. Now, he has to perform on the field, which I thought he did last year when he was injured. If he's healthy, I get the feeling Jared is going to have a big year this year for the Browns.
He has a feeling he is too. Andy, you're coming off of, speaking of anonymous comments, anonymous folks from New York speaking about Odell quitting on plays with the Giants and with the Browns. And to that, I say, I've seen a little bit that I could call quitting on plays, but I 100% have understood the frustration that I have seen on the field out of Odell. It makes a lot of sense when you look back at last season and how that offense was run and the mess that it was, that he came there hoping to make big things happen. He knows he's the big signing in Cleveland. He liked being there. He cares about the city. He enjoys being there. He's made comments in the media saying he wants to be here. So this quitting on plays bullshit. Look, when you play on a team that doesn't have their shit together and you find yourself as, you know, this elite player in any league, you're going to get pissed. You're going to get pissed. And he's not necessarily in a leadership role, right? I mean, it's not necessarily who he is. So I just don't really hold that type of responsibility on him. What I hold on him is, can he perform when shit's hitting on all cylinders, and can he bring us touchdowns and wins, right? I mean, that's where I'm at with Odell. That's where I'm at with him. I'm not going to put a ton of responsibility on him in any other form. I think that the young wide receivers on that team will go to him. He takes care of them. He has shown that. He doesn't do it out in the open necessarily all the time. He did it with guys who didn't make the team last year. So there's no reason to shit on Odell. Odell is who he is, and he understands who he is, and he does that to the best of his own ability. I'll leave it at that.
Landry is, as I said before, is the soul of this team.
Yes.
Landry
Correct.
Gives it out on every play. Does Beckham check out on a couple plays a game? Yes, he does. Does Beckham have some moments that really make you scratch your head? Yes, he does. Yeah. Does that mean that I don't want Beckham on the team? No, it doesn't. I do enjoy Beckham on this team, and he's very athletic, freakish. Did some things not go his way, and he had some moments where it made you like really cringe? Yeah, I saw that for sure. Absolutely. Now, if this continues, I'm going to start going in that narrative, and I get it. Yeah, I want to give Beckham a second chance here. I think he can really play. All that to be said, all those criticisms that come from the Giants, I kind of washed away that stuff because when he was on fire and the Giants were going to the playoffs, you never heard that Beckham stuff.
No, of course not.
So my point is, when the Browns are playing well, I get the feeling you won't hear this stuff.
Right.
I think this stuff is noise as long as the Browns struggle. And does he bring attention to himself? Is he going to wear some cleats? Yeah, I know that. Yeah, he is. He's going to bring that stuff. But in sports, I have learned those kind of guys can actually bring more camaraderie. We had him for the Cavs. Yeah. J.R. Smith was that dude, okay? J.R. had moments. God forbid that awful timeout in 18. All to be said,
I still stand by him on that. Go ahead, though.
I love J.R. Smith. I love Odell Beckham. It doesn't mean he's perfect. If you want to nitpick Odell Beckham, you can do it.
Right, you can. And referees have done it. We know that prior to games, the whole shit with the reflective visor and stuff that we saw other players not get pulled for.
Oh, that's like the bat flip thing.
But I mean, that's my point. I agree. Like, come on.
When Big Papi was playing, Big Papi flipped the bat better than anybody. But who did they get on? Yasiel Puig when he's playing for the Dodgers. I don't know why. But it's like every time Papi hit a home run, that fucking bat be like, bloop! And yet people didn't give a fuck because he's playing for the Yankees. But like when it came down to like Puig doing a few things that really tweaked people, there is Jared hit on it. It's like this in life. Beckham does get an extra spotlight, and anytime he goes out of that zone, it's unfair. He gets zapped hard by whether it's the league, whether it's a referee, whether it's the media. He gets zapped really hard.
I'm not one of all the rules guys when not everyone's getting. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Get the hell out of here.
Absolutely. And again, you can go through other players in the Browns who did not play as well. Beckham played above, and you don't hear about those players. Just keep that in mind. And that's what I'm seeing with Beckham. All right. All that to be said, by the way, because Stefanski says he's 100% ready to go. So it should be ready to rock and roll. Not to go down too far down this road, but in case people missed it, the Browns did send out a letter on Thursday, July 9th, saying that there is going to be some new policies due to the pandemic, and season ticket holders can opt out of the 2020 season without penalty. There's not a lot to say here. I just want to say that I thought that was a great move by the Browns. It's a given. It's a must. It's a captain obvious, but they did it. And good. They needed to do it. They needed to address it. They needed to get on with it quickly and move on. I'm glad the Browns did that. It obviously makes sense. Look, if you don't want to have season tickets this year for the pandemic, you should be able to opt out. I'm glad the Browns did that. The other big thing that's going on that's about really behind the scenes, the NFL and the NFLPA are discussing how this year is going to work. People can go online and read all this stuff. So I know this is not a topic people have to get into. The bigger thing with this story to me is J.C. Tretter, who is the NFL Players Association president. Mm-hmm. He really made a move. I'm trying to think. It was like a week ago. So it was like Tuesday, July 7th, something like that. He made a big saying, hey, we need to talk about these things. We need to negotiate COVID-19 concerns. And I thought his comments really struck what was going on this week with the NFL and NFLPA, because there was no movement until J.C. Tretter came out and basically said, you know what? Fuck this. Are we not going to talk about this? Are we not going to get down the trenches? And good for J.C. Tretter. We talked about it. It kind of like the NFL was snoozing.
I've got personal experience. I understand. There are some places that just don't necessarily want to prepare or talk about things, and I don't understand it. And sometimes it just takes someone to go, hello, is anyone home? Is anyone home? What are we going to do? Are we just going to pretend like nothing's going on? And then all of a sudden, when we're coming up on preseason or we're coming up on, all this shit with like that, all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, I guess we're just going to, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll just play. Like, come the fuck on.
Don't worry. We're going to Costco to get Q-tips.
Can we please act like adults and have some real leadership in some of these situations where plan. If you don't plan, I mean, you say fail to plan, you plan to fail. I don't fucking care what you say. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. How do you eliminate fear? How do you eliminate anxiety? How do you make these players feel confident about coming out and playing some fucking football? You have a fucking plan. What happens if everyone starts catching shit? You have a plan to mitigate. You have a plan. You have to have a plan. And even if you deviate from the plan, at least you had a plan.
Hey, they needed to the NFLPA and the NFL needed to start doing something. And JC Treader, what he did, woke up everyone. Good. And it needed to happen. And my whole point surrounding the Browns, to wrap this all up, the Browns are moving in the right direction. They are moving in a way where they're going to be consistently winning. You can see the road. You can see it. Now, performance on the field is everything. But they are mapping it out really nicely. I got to admit.
Through whether
we have leaders on this team, from Nick Chubb, the quiet leader, Myles Garrett, the leader on defense. You have also helping out the community, which all these guys have been. Obviously, 6, Baker Mayfield. Landry, we talk about on the show. And even guys like J.C. Treader. Yeah. Lots of leaders on this team. Jared, in all my years as a Browns fan, I can't remember a time where it seems like you only had like 2 or 3. Dawson, Thomas, maybe some random dude once in a while, and like that's our leaders. And the Browns, talent on the field, we all know this team's good. But honestly, you can circle Landry's a leader. I think Nick Chubb's a leader. I think J.C. Treader's a leader. I really do think Myles Garrett's a leader. You have Baker Mayfield's a leader. You have multiple guys in this team. That's a great sign, and the Browns need that, especially with what they're trying to do and getting this into a winning culture. Mm-hmm. It's good to see. Love it. Love it. This has been great. Now, from here on out, it's more about when can they get on the field. Yeah. The good news about all this is, and I'll end it on this note before we get to the tribe. The good news about all this on the field is, compared to baseball, the NFL players and the NFL owners want to play. Both sides want camp. Both sides want to play. So there's a common goal there. This is not MLB. This is not even some of these extremes we've seen. So I don't want to make out like, oh, they're bickering and arguing. No, everyone wants to play. And in fact, from everything I'm reading, fans are an option. They're just trying to get games on the field to play. So that's way in the background. They're just trying to get games to play. As Jared Watson freezes again. Poor Jared. He's having so many internet issues tonight. The poor guy is just really, really having a hard time. But we'll keep talking as we wait for him. So that's the Browns. And again, I can't state this enough. Love what Myles Garrett is signing. That made a lot of sense. It's good for Garrett too. He needed to take the cash. And the biggest thing that I can't get over with this team is how Andrew Berry, in a short season, has really given the Browns everything they wanted and more in an offseason where they really did in a normal year. You would be saying to yourself, well, maybe the Browns are not just the Browns surviving and getting the 2021 draft is our goal. That would be the normal response. Right now, the Browns are more saying, we're trying to pave the way. We're actually trying to lead the way in getting back to on the field stuff. And it's great. The winning culture's there and everything else. I'm going to text Jared Watson. Poor guy's having unreal issues. But again, I just think right now, he is having major internet issues, which is hold on, I'm going to text him. I can't text and type. I don't know if anybody's out there. Cool. He's going to be back in a second. So the drum roll, please. Now, one more thing about the Browns, actually, too. I think this year there's not going to be any preseason. And I will say the one thing that I am curious about this team is Stefanski going into what will, I think, just be right off the first game of the bat. I think we need to be patient as fans. I think getting to a hot start on offense would be unrealistic unless they really have connected on these Zoom calls. I think everybody should be very, very patient about how the Browns will play early on. Now, let's turn to the tribe as we wait for Mr. Watson to come back. The Indians also during a pandemic, I think has been very, very, very positive. I really like how things have been going in camp so far, and Mr. Watson's back. Look at that. He's up and running.
None of that. I don't know. I don't think anyone saw you either. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe. No.
This is the struggle of COVID-19 life when we could blame it on, everyone being logged onto the internet. I'm plugged in. I'm hardwired, Andy. This is a connection. This is the company that is providing this service is failing me at this moment. I'm not going to put them on blast. But we'll get through it.
We're going to push through.
So Browns should be good. We'll see what happens.
The one question about the Browns, I was just telling fans in case anybody didn't hear me, but I'll remind my partner here, my poor partner. He hustles. He has so much love in his heart. And the poor internet, he's taking sticks and glue and trying to build a house that's, that the big bad wolf's going to blow down because of the internet.
Every 30 minutes.
Every 30 minutes. So we have basically 30 minutes till the show ends. All that to be said, I think the Browns, we do need to be patient as fans. If this does not run on all cylinders right out of the gate, because I don't think there's going to be a preseason. I think it's going to be right after game one. We should remember it's going to be okay and to give this a little bit more time, because unless these Zoom meetings have been hitting out of the park, and by the way, if they have, holy shit, we might have the magic elixir to win big. But there's going to be some of that to come. And I am not naive to that. Jared, I'd be shocked if this is running on all cylinders. First game in Baltimore. I'd be shocked.
Because of the situation, new coaching staff, new front office, still a lot of young players at the core of this team, still a team that is not meshed as a team. Coming off of, 6 wins last season? Look, I don't even remember because I try to forget.
6.
Andy, if my biggest concern with the way that this season starts, if it does start, is health. That's all I care about. I'm dead serious. If they start out 0-3, 0-4, depending on how that goes, I don't know that I don't know how much I can throw a fit over that. I think that, and I know not everyone's going to feel this way, but this season, this year with the Browns, I'm going to give a pass. I am. Now, maybe I'll change my opinion down the road. I want to see football. I want to see people stay healthy. I don't want to see injuries due to not having enough warm-up time or whatever it is. That's what I care about the most.
I am with you, but I'm also still TBD. The Browns are. I'm going to say that again. TBD.
Yeah.
The Cavs, yes. The Indians.
Oh, no. The Indians need to step on the gas from the very beginning, and I want this World Series. I'm saying it right now. 60 games, I want it. I want it.
The Browns
you fucking blaze through and you win this shit. That's how I feel about the Indians this year.
The Browns, I think I'm going to be in that direction too towards the end, but we'll see. Right now, I don't know.
If they're in the position, yes, absolutely.
We'll see. No, I that's why I'm saying we'll see. All right, to the Tribe. The biggest news that came out, we're going to get through lots of details. I can't stress this enough, so I'm going to plug her, and we're going to get her back on when she can. She's going big time. She's on Buster Only now. It's all because of us. Mandy Bell now.
Yeah, right. She's not going to have time for us down the road.
That's all because of us.
Mandy's a big timer, and you know what? I think we expected that. So
she's very good. She's excellent. But all that to be said, there's all these different things we're going to get into. So it's nuts and bolts, it's a lot of tidbits. But the big story that kind of got buried is Lindor batting third. So it really does. Tito alluded to it. His quotes are this, quote, "That's my sneaking suspicion," end quote, talking about where Lindor is going to be batting this year and batting third. Quote, "Some of it was literally sitting down and talking with Lindor about comfort level, where he's been in the past, where he thinks he is now. He was quick to say, 'Hey, I'll hit anywhere you want,' which I appreciate," end quote. He went on to say some other things. The big thing that's kind of come out of this camp is, here's your top 4. Sounds like Cesar Hernandez, who's a good, consistent hitter, who everybody fucking laughed in the media about that signing. Cesar Hernandez is a good player. He's not great. He's not sexy. He's going to be batting leadoff for the team. Not such a bad signing now, is it? Right. He's batting leadoff for your team, and he's a signing in free agency.
There were zero expectations with that signing, correct? There were,
except for us. except for us. I like that sign from day one. He's a good, consistent player.
I couldn't figure out what the problem was, especially when you're coming off of Kipnis. Okay, let's do it this way. You want Kipnis leading off, or do you want
Kipnis? No. Love Kipnis? No.
I think that's a simple answer right there.
No. Love Kipnis? No. Cesar Hernandez makes a lot of sense. Sounds like it's going to be Cesar Hernandez, Carlos Santana, Lindor, J-Ram batting in the 4-hole. Here's my only comment I'll say about this again. Top 3, cool. J-Ram's got to hit. It's a lot of expectations on J-Ram hit. And by the way, I know. I got to be honest. Coming from my years on the diamond and watching J-Ram and understanding kind of the struggles that he had last season and finding himself a little bit, and him being, an emotional player and feeling a lot of that pressure, and you could see it outwardly in how he played. I'd rather see him as a 6 or 7 hitter. I'm not lying, and I mean thriving at the 6 or 7 spot. See, that's what I'm
like batting over 300 and still hitting bombs in the back half of that order. That's how I see J-Ram.
I'm 1,000% behind you. That's why I alluded to that comment the way I did.
Now,
Domingo
is there a
Santana
hopefulness
batting,
go ahead.
cleanup, Reyes batting cleanup? Absolutely. J-Ram batting cleanup, you're going all in, so I get it. And he can carry a lineup when he's hot, but I agree with Jared. Allowing him to bat 6 or 7 where he's thrived in his career. Now, when he gets hot, you move him up, and he keeps hitting. But I would start him off 6 or 7, let him get hot, then raise him up. All that to be said, he's a veteran now. He knows his role. And again, if the Indians are going to be successful big time, I'm not naive. J-Ram playing well and hitting 4th makes a lot of sense. I just think it's a lot of pressure for a guy. I hope he can. I love J-Ram. I'm such a big fan of his. I really hope he gets off to a hot start. It's going to be key. I'm telling you, J-Ram's going to be key on this team. I felt that from day one.
I mean, I would love to turn around and say, yep, I was wrong about that.
Oh, God, me too. Nothing when Lindor coming resigning of the club. I do want to bring that up for one reason. If I were the Indians and seeing what I noticed around me from just down the street there in Berea and just seeing what's going on in baseball, I'm going to start harping on this. I think the Indians need to knock on Lindor and his agent and start talking things out. I think as the season continues, this is going to become more of a story. And I think the Indians need to get ahead of it. It's not a story yet. I think it's going to become a story as we go along. And if you are non-Clevelanders for everything else and you read things in the paper, you know what the second or third story is how fast is Lindor going to be traded. And it's just building. You can just feel it. It's just building. And
a lot of that talk, Andy, again, I'd say slow it down. I think there's a lot of people that need to pump the brakes when it comes to that. And it comes down to, again, the uncertainty of the future. Again, to me, is setting up for something to work out with the Indians and with Lindor. Now, I could be way wrong, but I still think it's at least 50-50, if not 60-40 in the Indians' favor. That's bold. I think it's there.
I can't get a read on this situation at all right now.
Yeah.
Positively or negative. I have no vibe, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I have no vibe. I don't have any vibe.
Mm-hmm.
If you're asking me pre-pandemic, Lindor's gone after this year.
Oh,
right now?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right now, I don't have a vibe. I just don't know. I really don't know. It's really weird. Because usually guys like that, you usually have like, hey, he's not going to get re-signed, traded bait's coming. Hey, they're going to make some attempts. You just don't get any vibe with him.
Right.
Don't get any vibe, which I think is bizarre. On Tuesday's scrimmage, which would have been today's 16th, so that's the 14th. The biggest story that, again, is quiet is Bieber has looked dominant so far. There's another young man who we'll get to later who's also looked dominant. But if there is a number one, according to Mandy Bell and others, Shane Bieber looks ready to go. Carl Willis, quote, obviously, I think he did a tremendous job striking out 10 in the scrimmage on Tuesday. During the time we were away of maintaining what he started in Arizona. Quote from Willis, obviously the intensity is going to pick up when we start face teams that aren't wearing the same uniform, if you will. He got a little upset tonight with maybe a few check swings that maybe weren't called. We didn't have an umpire at third base. He's definitely competing, and that's important. If you're reading every day, if you had to rate, I'm going to hide him. If there's a number one, it's Bieber. Bieber has looked like it's already in mid form.
We knew it. We knew it. We knew it last year. We knew it.
Yes. My guy Karinchak also looked great the other night too. So he's playing well. Very excited about both those two guys. The bigger story that's kind of coming out, which if you had listened to us 2 or 3 months ago, Plutko 4, probably Savali 5, Plesac in the back end. Plutko's had a rough start so far to this inter-scrimmage stuff. He did not pitch well earlier this week on Monday. Mm-hmm. He allowed 3 runs on 27 pitches in the first inning. He got tattooed hard, according to Matt Lode, who's an SI. We should bring him on. Matt Lode's a very good man who's surviving cancer, and he does great work for Sports Illustrated and Indians Insider. Very good stuff there. Plutko's struggling.
Let's talk about this for a second, Andy, because do the Indians need to have a 5-starter rotation on a 60 game season, right? There's going to be teams that are going to be experimenting and doing different things. Some teams are going to be leaving their starters out there for as long as they can because they're not getting the innings that they would in a regular season. Some are going to be flipping it around and throwing, relievers in there. I mean, you can't even necessarily say that teams are going to be playing it like it's playoff baseball. Especially with the idea that you got to leave guys in for 3 batters. But at the same time, there's the possibility that some of these guys are running on I mean, now granted, this might be crazy. A 3-man rotation is possible in a 60-game season. So you might want to save an arm if you think that your starting 3, your top 3 are going to get you enough wins to get there, right? I mean, there's a lot of chess going on in how this is going to play out.
What's interesting about the Indians overall being fair, the starting pitching is so good to great that Jared makes a lot of sense. And here's the backup that it's not bad. The bullpen it's okay.
Cool. So does Plutko help solidify that?
That's my point.
Right.
That's what I'm alluding to. Like on previous years, you'd be like, oh my gosh, Andrew Miller, let's roll out Cody Allen. Like, don't worry about that. This year, for being fair, starting pitching is really going to rule the roost on this team. So whatever you got to do to get them to pitch successfully with your starting pitching out there is great. Plutko goes to the bullpen, cool with that. Plesac was impressive, and, I harp on it. I'm going to harp on it again. That guy, Savali, what he did in Minnesota, his career has taken off. He has been nasty so far, too. Savali sounds like he's going to be the 4, and it's down to Plesac and Plutko for 5. And Plesac's good. I agree with Jared. The biggest thing with this team, outside of lineups tweaks, and we haven't really gotten a vibe yet. It's been hard to get a vibe as the bullpen. I'm not saying I'm worried about it, but it's like Lindor's contract. It's a mystery. I just don't get a vibe for it. I don't get a vibe. I've been reading all this stuff. Hard to get a vibe. Outside of Karinchak you read about, Anthony Ghost, poor guy, then got shelled early on. He is not going to be coming up with a team this year, so he's going to be going back and getting. And by the way, I think after a couple outings, and he did not look good the other night. I just think after that, it's the right move to do to take the breaks off. And to what Jared's saying, Jeffrey Rodriguez, we haven't mentioned his name. Pre-injury, Jeffrey Rodriguez was pitching pretty well.
Yeah.
So you have guys in there that can give you length, that can go in there, which in this year with the 3-pitcher minimum rule, 3-batter rule, you got to get in there, and you got to have guys in there who have length. Savali was impressive on Sunday. We talked about that. Really, again, we hit upon it. I'm going to actually do this. Bieber, Clevenger, Carlos Carrasco's are all does. I have not seen it in person. I think Savali is going to be a hidden gem. I would do whatever it takes to give Plutko a chance to win that 5th spot. If he can't, just because of the way the season's structured, I would give it to the hottest pitcher, and you got to give it to Zach Plesac. I would not mess around. This is not the year where you can give the ball to Tomlin in April and let him try to press through things. You don't have time for Plutko. Plutko's not pitching well. I hate to say it, he's going to have to take a seat.
And they won't. They won't.
I don't think they will either.
I think Tito knows what he's doing here. It's difficult. I mean, I think there could be some folks that think, "Oh man, this isn't the right type of season for Tito." I think those folks. I think those folks are going to be mistaken.
By the way, that's a lost comment. That's a lost comment.
There's folks out there that might think that they're worried that he's going to be too patient with certain players.
He is one of the best managers I've seen in my time. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Chill the fuck out. Go on the NBA lottery and look at the lottery pick in December, okay? That's what you should just read that. Don't waste energy on, I really don't know if Tatum for account. You're wasting energy. Does he really know what he's doing? Why? Look, we'll debate things he does, but he knows best. Okay?
You ain't kidding, brother.
This isn't bubble screen on 2nd and 12, okay?
He doesn't have his back to the field.
Multiple games as Cardinals are running down the field to score a touchdown.
He's not checking on Reyes to see if his feelings are hurt.
Catching a football one-handed right before a big Titans game. Getting your ass kicked. And 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Love you, Freddie. Fermel Reyes, for people who saw the highlights, he I don't know what that was. I actually let Francona take it over. He was trying to stretch out a single into a double. He got thrown out. Francona, what did you see? Quote, he had that car accident at second base. Such a great one-liner.
I love him. The
good news is Franmil. By the way, we need Franmil Reyes. He's going to be okay, and he's going to be back playing. It sounds like he's going to be in Pittsburgh, ready to go. Now, on the opposite end of the story is Mr. Luplow. Luplow has been having back issues. He has not really played yet. He is the only good news is they think it's just soreness, meaning it's not a serious injury. From Francona on Luplow, quote, for the most part, is really encouraging news, talking about what came from team doctors. Nothing structural that needs to be attended to. My guess is that he's going to need 3 to 5 days to get baseball back. Big week for Luplow. Again, going on what we were just saying for Plucko, it's also the same with injuries. If you got a sore back, there's no time. Now, so Luplow, shaky, not no. Obviously, Delano DeShields, we know he's starting in the DL. Now, here's a story that I never thought we'd get to. Yeah. And we are now here. And he is quietly, there's another young man we're going to get to last who's having the best spring outside of Bieber. But this guy, too, is playing well. It's Bradley Zimmer.
Yep.
Bradley Zimmer's quietly playing well right now. And it's actually getting to the point, as Mandy Bell pointed out, so you can go to Mandy Bell's article. It's getting to the point now where a lot of people who are inside think Greg Allen may not make the team. And Jake Bowers, and Zimmer will. That's how well he's playing. Taking advantage of the moment. He had another home run again last night. Playing well, Jared. He is really, I mentioned this and I threw it out there. You in life sometimes have opportunities. I said, I mentioned this podcast, I'm like, this is an opportunity for Zimmer.
Well,
he can finally regain it.
We know that Bradley Zimmer was asked to do a few things last season that he decided not to do, or was it after this season? It was last season? Or
he did not want to play Arizona ball. He decided he needed to take the winter off to focus on himself.
And Tito really thought that was a bad idea. And if Tito thought that's a bad idea, Andy and I automatically went, "Oh boy, Bradley's in the doghouse."
Publicly, he said this. Publicly,
yeah, exactly. This wasn't behind, right. And we know how Tito handles things, so we know how to read into what he's talking about when he says this stuff. That made me think, that's it. Bradley's finished. Finished.
I thought it was dead man walking to. It's amazing. In opportunities in life, he's had such a bad run here. But here he is. You have an opportunity. Greg Allen's not playing so great. Got some injury bugs too. Delano DeShields has COVID-19. Here's your chance to step up and make the team, and he's taking advantage of it. He's actually pushing to make the team over Daniel Johnson, who in the first scrimmage game was the player of the game.
Right.
Zimmer's playing well.
Well, I will say this too. In these, this is the same thing, Andy. This is the difficult thing. These games don't count.
I know.
These games don't count, and that makes it, these are going to be dangerous decisions. Dangerous decisions. Because if you come out of the gate 1-7, you might be finished.
Right?
1-6 even.
By the way, even as soon as you said that, I went, oh, God. Oh.
Right. If you make the mistake on the team, on position players, on batting order, on J Ram batting fourth, on Bradley Zimmer taking a position.
Yeah.
That's going to change it. That's going to change it big time. And there's no, well, that's okay. Let's just stay at 500 until we get to the All-Star break. Let's stay within 6 back. Like, no, that does not work this year. No.
If this was 2020 normal spring training, Zimmer would be in Columbus.
Yeah.
Plutko would be your 4. This is not normal.
Even how he's playing right now.
You've got to get off. I mean, Zimmer's playing well. You can tell if you read the stories every day. Zimmer's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing out. It's getting to the point where it's being discussed now, and I'm rooting for him. And here's a quote from Francona: "There's some wild cards that make it a little bit more difficult," alluding to Zimmer, like Bradley Zimmer, a guy that we absolutely love. We love his skill set. The kid hasn't really basically played much in 2 years, but here he is, making plays. Watch the Bradley Zimmer story, and I would not be surprised if he makes his team and he just tears it the fuck up.
He better tear it the fuck up. He'd better.
Hey, again, I mentioned on a podcast.
Hell of a story, man.
I mentioned it for a reason. Life throws things at you for reasons.
Yeah.
And I thought Zimmer had a chance, and he's taking it through. Outside of Shane Bieber, who had Yu Chang having a great summer camp? Who had that on their bingo card?
Not me.
Oh my gosh. He is. There was a great quote. I think it was from Clevenger. He goes, "Is that Babe Ruth? Yu Chang is hitting the crap out of the ball." I'm going to give you some things last week or a couple weeks ago from Chang. Homer off Carrasco on Monday. Homer off Plesac on Wednesday. Homer off Bieber on Thursday. Homer off Moss on Friday. And homer off Carrasco. Today is the 16th. The day before, on Wednesday 15th, he hit another home run. I quietly liked him last year.
Yeah, we did. We saw the potential there. We saw a ball player there.
I said, God, he looks big.
Yeah.
He looks the part. And by the way, he was not ready for prime time. This would be a great gem for one reason only. If you need J Ram just to take a breath at third base or whatever else, hey, get Yu Chang in there, get him to settle down for a day, and get him in there and playing well. Yu Chang's a story. I think he's making the team.
No, dude, no. Come on now. Yeah.
He's making the team. Mike Freeman and Yu Chang are going to be your utility infielders. I'd be surprised. I mean, Yu Chang's played so well. I don't know how you can't. Here's some other, we'll call them tried tidbits for now. Domingo Santana hit a grand slam off Gase. As we mentioned, Gase has been sent down. Daniel Johnson, we mentioned the MVP thing. Gase will not be playing for the team this year. Hopefully he'll get him back. But I get the feeling already, Jared, Anthony Ghost will be a story for 2021. I don't think you'll be seeing him in big spots this year, which is fine. Another story that kind of came out of the woodwork, which I did not realize last year, Perez, I guess, had off-season surgery. I don't know if we talked about that. I don't know why. I don't
remember it either. No,
I don't remember. I don't remember this, but he is feeling really well. That's another guy I would kind of circle. I didn't realize he was injured. So if he was injured last year and he played that well down the stretch, how is he going to play this year when he's healthy?
Well, and this is the thing, Andy, too, is, when we talk about this, when we talk about a Roberto Perez and forgetting that he had surgery and some of these things, and just the team, the more names that we sit here and that we discuss, even just in this episode, I mean, it's got to let fans know there's some real depth here. There's a lot of stuff going on with this team where you're like, oh, yeah, that's a bright spot.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's a bright spot. Oh, wow, that is working out how we hoped it would. Think about all that stuff with this team. So if Roberto Perez comes back healthy and in better shape, what are we looking at here, Andy?
The only thing that's a mystery outside of the Lindor contract, or what he's doing, is this bullpen. This bullpen, I have to admit, is a bit of a
guys fighting for starting roles. Starting roles that might do really fucking well in that bullpen.
Do you know what would make me happy, put a smile on my face? Brad Hand looked nasty today. Haven't read that yet. like to read that just once before the season starts. Once. Brad Hand, man. Oh my gosh, he's back. I haven't heard that.
All right. Well, you're an asshole for bringing this down. Because
I'm that guy who kind of goes, I hate to pull a little cold water.
Thanks for being a wet blanket.
I just want to say the bullpen is the only thing in all these news things I read outside of Karen Check and Anthony Ghost you don't hear much about. Time will tell. Delano DeShields was placed on the 10-day injury list. He talked about his experiences. You can read the stories. He gave a very, very honest, raw. I give him credit. You know, a lot of players have not, and I would understand both sides. It's not easy to talk about something like this when you're just going through it and it's a global pandemic. But he was very honest and raw about his comments about what he was experiencing, whatever else. I just thought that was really, really cool of him to talk about that. He was very honest about it. It wasn't fun at all. Again, you can read the story. Delano DeShields, the more I learn about him, the more I like him. The more I learn, the more I like him.
I mean, it's scary. He admitted, he talked about some of the scarier things there regarding his experience with COVID. And he's another one who couldn't smell things. And luckily his senses have come back in that sense. But I think that loss of appetite, being afraid of not wanting to eat things that you know are good and not feeling well. Thank God that it sounds like as much as it sucked, we call these mild symptoms, I guess, right? I don't know. Thank God he's okay. And let's hope that we know that there's residual effects that this COVID is having on a lot of folks, even when they are suffering only the mild symptoms, where that residual stuff that doesn't stop coming, whether it be not being able to smell anything or whether it be, the clotting issues that come. I just hope that he's okay and that everyone else stays healthy too. It's what we talk about all the time, Andy. When Delano DeShields shares that story, it's a reminder that this shit's real. It's real. Whether you want,
he gave a really, really raw account. Like anything else, I mean, even when you get bronchitis or you get the flu, you usually do have residual effects. COVID-19 is no different. So that's something everybody should remember there. Yeah. The team name. There's really nothing new on this. The only thing I could see that was Francona had a team meeting and they talked about what they wanted. And the biggest thing that came out of it, which is not surprising, is he is the man. Quote from Francona: "Nobody is more proud to represent the city of Cleveland, him and the team, or to work with the people I work with. I love them. I think anybody who spent 5 minutes with me knows that. I also think it's just the right thing to say, well, we're going to keep the status quo because that's what we've always done. I'm at an age, I know what we've always said and done isn't appropriate all the time. And being old enough to listen and try to learn, even at an advanced age, we need to do and we need to be sincere." The Indians are still taking this very seriously. I think the team name change is coming. But as of today, and this is the July 16th, nothing new. Very, very nothing new on that front.
And you know what that tells me? That doesn't tell me they're ignoring it. That tells me that they're being very thoughtful in this. And I've said this before, especially when I felt like the Redskins were going to, that Washington team were going to rush their name change and just change it and brush it under the rug, that I do not believe that changing the name and acting like that never happened, basically, and forgetting about it and pretending that and not having the discussion would be an absolute waste of an opportunity and a mistake in the long run. I think that I'm glad that we haven't heard any news regarding this yet, because it tells me that they're being thoughtful in that way and they're being mindful in that way, and they're going to do it the right way. As much as we can piss and moan about what the Dolans have done regarding, signing players or the Lindor stuff or any of the other things we don't necessarily, like, what we can say is, I think that the Dolans, that group is a solid group of people. We know the front office is as amazing as they are. And I believe and trust that however this plays out, it will play out in the right way. And that's all I'm asking for. Call them whatever you want at the end of the day. But I hope that they do it in the way, and maybe even consider the way that I wanted them to do it. But,
well, here's something to keep in mind and play off that and pivot off your comment. There are more and more rumors coming out that Dolans are looking to sell the team. And there's more of that soft reporting going around the last couple of weeks. I would keep your eye on that. I think those are some legitimate things in some of those writings and what you hear on radio and whatever else. I do think I do think it's something to keep our eye on. We have not changed ownership in a while with the Indians. I think that's coming.
LeBron buying the team.
Oh my God, I hope so. God,
you know that's a real possibility.
God, it'd be great, wouldn't it? For people who did not realize, the Pirates and the Indians are going to be playing games July 18th, 20th, and 22nd. They start this Friday. In fact, I believe the Indians start leaving tonight or tomorrow to head down to PNC Park. So they're going to make their way down there. So those games are all going to be on WTM, so you can listen to Tom Hamilton, which I can't wait. And then STO will have the broadcast on the 20th. I won't be able to see that. And then there will be, after that, they start getting ready for the season. Sounds like it will be an exhibition, but if you want a taste of baseball, that's going to be the closest thing you can get before Thursday. And that starts on July 18th on a Friday.
Yeah, I'm ready for that too. Andy, it's been a long time. It's been grueling. It's been exhausting just waiting for some sports that we care about, Cleveland sports to be specific. So I'm looking forward to that because I've been so damn busy over the past couple of weeks that I haven't even been able to follow some of these scrimmages, and that's been frustrating for me. So as closely as I would like to, at least. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I know that for everyone is, Andy. Have you ever itched for it as much as you are now?
I can't wait for Friday. Can't wait. Can't wait for Friday. Just can't wait. Can't wait.
Now let's flip it here. There's some sports that are going to be struggling to even get out on the field, and we already know college football is that's it.
So let's wrap up on that.
Yeah.
Jared Watson put on his genie hat and predicted the right thing here. I did not. I am now ready to go into the camp of him. I think they need to play spring football. I don't see how this is going to get off cleanly. This is the college sports in general, but specifically college football and college, I'll say basketball too, but really college football. Fans are more part, and students and alumni and family are more part of college football than they are in these professional sports. There's tailgating and there's stuff going on pre and post all these different professional sports. We get that. College football, if you walk around, no matter where it's Columbus, Ohio with Jared's hat, or West Lafayette for Purdue game, or Fighting Irish in South Bend, or in Oxford, Mississippi for Ole Miss, to Tuscaloosa, there is tailgating, walking around, fans being. It's about the game, but it's almost about the event and the game itself. It kind of goes hand in hand, right? Wins and losses, everybody's bummed out, but it's about the event.
Yeah.
COVID-19, that's just not going to happen right now. It is just not going to be possible. It has gotten to the point where I think we're at a no return, and I actually think for the best of health, for the best of college football that we love and enjoy, I think they should, I'll use a football term, punt this to spring. I just don't see how right now they can get around it. And there's been one anonymous quote from an AD says, it feels like we're delaying the inevitable, and that's kind of the way I feel too.
Well, and Andy, let's talk about this real quick. How many colleges, how many universities have a team out there? Have sports teams out there, and there is a loose, they're all so separated geographically, culturally, how these schools are run. The South does it differently than the North. We know that. You've got all the different conferences, Big Ten, ACC, SEC, who are all handling their things their own way. We've seen teams handling it differently. All the kids get it. Have your COVID parties, whether they've been saying it out loud or not. We know that's something that may have been going on. And you got teams like Notre Dame where they've been testing folks forever and not one of them have got it. But when you put them on the fucking field against somebody, that ain't going to mean anything. So
if they can play a game.
Right. And by the way, if Notre Dame can play, because if they are going to try to only do the conference play, what conference is Notre Dame even going to fall into? And how does that affect the TV stuff that Andy and I have talked about, right? Where all the money's going to go.
Hey,
money's enough. Obviously, money is what moves it all. So
huge. Notre Dame is I love Notre Dame. They are in a fucking pickle because they've already lost SC. They've already lost the Wisconsin game, which was going to be played in Lambeau. They're going to lose more games. It's coming.
Yeah.
Notre Dame football, which is a big part of the game. It's I don't know.
I really understand. Look, so we understand how much money is involved, and we know that money is the big driver within NCAA college sports. We understand that 100%. That money is it. Money, 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 money. There's nothing else. We can talk about the family. We can talk about the boosters. We can talk about the loyalty and how much we care about whatever the uniform is or the school it is that we're representing or the state that we're from. We can talk about it all fucking day. At the end of the day, money, 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 money. So one of the reasons why we are trying to force the inevitable is because money, 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 money. But what I think that smart money will realize is the spring is when they're going to be able to do it. Hopefully we will have a vaccine at that point. Hopefully we will have survived what seems to be at this point going to be an awful fucking fall and winter. And hopefully we can then have ourselves a college football season in the spring. Andy, there's no other way. I'm sorry. There just isn't. And, even at this point where we know that the NBA, Major League Baseball, and, eventually, I'm guessing the NFL may have their shit together and may play. We don't know that these seasons are going to even be able to finish. There are some people that do not think that Major League Baseball will be able to get through a 60-game season, even with it structured the way that they are doing it. So
Buster Olney's been saying it a lot. Yep.
Right. So let's see. But no, college football, different beast, man. Different beast. Different.
Here's where
not ruled. There's not one ruler disseminating the same rules to a small collection of people. This is a shit ton of stuff going on here, regionally, locally, state level. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen.
There is a lot of repercussions, and Jared hit on it. It's not just for the academic, it's not just for the athletic departments. Academically, college football does a lot for these schools.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what you're going to have to see is a major, major scramble they play in the fall. And I mean scramble. And the biggest part of why I think there's holding is because there's going to be said players who may not play this year because they're going to go right in the NFL draft. And I think that is playing a big part of why these decisions are becoming hard. Here's what I would say. If Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, other players and the like who are supposed to be in the top 20 of the draft, if they were choosing not to play, I would understand. And I think everything will be okay. I don't think that means that, look, we've been trying to get into what the Indians are going to do on the field and what the Browns are going to do. It's much easier to do in right now in professional sports. If you ask me, Andy, what do you think Notre Dame's going to be in football this year? I have no idea. I think college football is, wowza wild. And so I think right now, to what Jared's alluding to, I think it needs to be punted. I think it's inevitable. I agree with that AD. And I think it will actually help because then they can plan properly to get ready for the spring. Hopefully, the vaccine will be ready by then. Everything points to that by the end of maybe even as soon as late fall, early winter.
Yeah.
So if you got something like that in place, I think it'll go a long way. Does that mean no Justin Fields? Probably. No Trevor Lawrence? Probably. You're going to have some teams that are going to take hits on guys who are supposed to be playing this year. That is still does not mean it's not the right thing to do.
Let's roll that out real quick. I know that we're pulling this out, but I think it's worth discussing at this point. Some of those players, where is the value in risk at this point, right? This is, again, a situation where just like Myles Garrett signed and took the money, that some of these guys are already in a position where they know that they're first-round draft picks. So that's not going to change. These teams, these NFL teams, are going to still need quarterbacks. They're going to still need position players. And those first-round position players are going to go. They're going to go. So why risk it? Why risk it?
If this was going into a season where they sat out for the full season normally, that would bring up some questions. Right now, if they want to go, I get it. I get it. If I were Trevor Lawrence, and I know I'm not going to be planning on coming back my senior year, and I'm really, truthfully, if I'm being honest with myself, not planning to graduate, what am I doing?
Well, and why would you want to put the wear and tear on your body to then prep for the fall?
For a season that looks already half-assed, just forget it. Just go to the draft.
And that's even if the NFL ends up having to bump to the spring too.
Which is, I think, in play more than people think. I think the biggest thing with the NFL.
By the way, if that happens, I'm wondering how they will do it. Will they end up doing an abbreviated season for the spring so that they can do an abbreviated season in the fall to put things back on schedule? That's what I'm curious about. But again, we don't fucking know.
We don't fucking know. Here's the biggest thing about both college and NFL. Ready? Regular season. Okay, let's say they both play in the fall. Get crazy. Okay, fine. Are you telling me teams are going to the Music City Bowl, going to the Rose Bowl? Are you telling me the Super Bowl is going to be filled this year? Keep that in mind with all the stuff that's going around with this game.
Yeah,
okay?
Why not pause it so that you can put asses in seats?
That's my point. I just think in the long run, baseball, basketball, I hate to say it, they can get through it. I really do think they can get through it. I think the NFL can, aside from the Super Bowl.
Well, the number of games helps too.
It does.
And, and the fact that there's a lot of regional contracts in those. They're local-ish contracts in a lot of stuff with baseball.
But I'll tell you this. College football, are we really going to get excited for an empty Rose Bowl between Oregon and Wisconsin this year?
No, it'll feel like watching the Senior Bowl, you know?
That's my point about this college football thing. I get it. But are you really going to send kids out when there's still COVID-19 running around, if that's the case, to these cities? I don't think so. I just think college football has got to get beyond the fall.
They're better off having local. And I've thought this makes sense to me. Why not have local skills challenges, local skills games where they, you know what I mean? The clever shit, and just air that shit on TV locally. You know, SEC Network would eat all that shit up with SEC quarterbacks, you know, doing some, you know, throwing balls and fucking barrel shit, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's a possibility to do some things that are creative to make the time pass and still, you know, do something, right? Play it like it's golf, where you got a couple of guys doing, by the way, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like it's a couple of guys that are competing against each other, and it's a skills challenge. Stuff like that can be done. But you're talking about putting a full roster on the sidelines with the coaching staff and a TV staff, and nah, sorry, hard pass, not gonna happen.
I think college football is gonna be played in the spring. That's where I'll land on it. As Jared Watson freezes up again. Poor Jared. The internet woes have really gotten to him. And look at that cute face of his. Just freezing on up. So what we'll do is this. I'm going to keep talking. I don't know if people can see me or not. Jared's now texting me now. Here we go. Jared Watson. Oh my gosh. And this guy works so hard. And the poor internet, he's got sticks and glue, like I said. It's just not going to be his way. Kind of like college football. Sometimes you just got to pause or have a frozen screen. The Browns did the right thing with Myles Garrett. Everything is going well for the Tribe. Hopefully it continues on the field. As it's just now me on the screen. And I think most importantly, we can I think this year for the Browns, you can finally see the culture changing, which is good. And I think more importantly, I think it's going to be a great, great sign to come with whether they can get some of these other things to work out. So I think all of this is good news for the Browns, and it's a sign for things to come. Doesn't mean you're going to win big games. Doesn't mean all that, but they're changing the culture, which is what they needed to do, as the Seth Wickersham article mentioned about a year and a half ago. Indians, everything outside the bullpen I'm excited about. I really like Savali a lot. I think he's going to be great. And like I said, I think Jared and I alluded to it, and I'll end on this one, Notre Dame. I don't know what you do if you're Notre Dame. If you can't play any games and you're just playing Army, Navy, which is basically, I mean, even Navy's still in the Patriot. I think the Patriot League, I forget what league they're in. But my point being is, like, are you really going to, or Conference USA, sorry. Like, are you really going to have these games where you only play, like, you know, random clubs here and there? I mean, I think Notre Dame is the one team to keep your eye on for college football, even though they have a fall. Because I just don't know. how they're going to get through it. So all that to be said, we will wait for young Jared to come back. If he does not, it has been a great show. I bid you guys adieu. Roll Tribe. Go Browns. See you.
And we're back. Apparently, I'm by myself. Andy should be coming back soon. I'm sure he's waiting and watching. I'm live again, texting him right now. And then we can just roll with this thing. So let's see. Andy, is he coming back? So here's the deal, too. This is a very strange situation regarding this internet. This is an issue that we have been lucky enough to not really run into very often. But, you know, we're going to have days like this. We're going to have days like this. Andy, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
Try.
And this, you know, for the third time, we're trying it again. And all we're trying to do is lock out, brother. That's all I'm trying to do, is say goodbye.
Well, it's been a great show. The internet has won today.
Oh, yeah.
But we will not allow this to fail, this little show.
No.
We're gonna plow on through.
Yeah.
Great day. I mentioned, I don't know if anybody saw it, but I'll say it again. Great day for the Browns with the signing. Excited about the Indians. Wondering about the bullpen. And I think college football, it's all about the spring, if I'm being truthful. They play in the fall. I think that is I think that's going to be very, very tough. I don't think it's going to feel like college football. I think for the pros, I think for everybody else, you'll be okay outside the Super Bowl. Even the World Series, I don't know why. If there's no fans, I think the World Series will be okay. But I think in the case of Super Bowl, that's going to feel weird. Outside of that, though, college football, fans, alumni, all that stuff is needed. It's just needed, in my opinion. Need the fans. It's a one sport. I think you need fans.
Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond. Follow us on Twitter @CLE and Beyond. Shoot us an email at Andy and Jarid, Jarid, @gmail.com. We are part of Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland Sports Reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Like I said at the top of the show, special announcement coming soon. We are a part of something new, and it's a good thing for the show. Andy, I don't know what you're doing over there, working with your tongue.
Checking out my teeth.
Video stuff, Andy.
No, I did it on purpose.
Andy was doing some. I don't know if you were trying to seduce me or what, but it was working, whatever it was. And also, if you listen to the podcast, you're not going to notice that the internet cut out 3 times during this live broadcast. But I'm telling you now, just to cover my ass in case there's something I can't cut, and then it'll make sense at the very end. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jarid Watson. Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and Beyond. Myles Garrett was a great sign for 5 years. Good for the Browns. Now let's translate that into wins. Take care.
Shout out to Kaylee Waterhouse.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk after this.
Yes.
Hi, Kaylee. Looking forward to the help. We need it, clearly.